winning race number 4 and picking up their first win. It's Germany's Sail GP taking the victory in Sydney Harbor.
The good thing about being the new team is no one is judging you about the results, and you can put the progress as the highest priority for yourself.
We entirely wanted to focus on maximizing our learning and climbing up that learning curve as quickly as possible.
We had a very short lead time to get the team ready for the season. I tried to pick people who are good characters and who are also experienced.
Eric I think he's doing really well compared to, you know, the other skippers that have maybe helmed an America's Cup on these boats and have hours sailing these boats.
For us, it's just, you know, being better in every single area a little bit, and the starting is more or less 50% of the race, so we need to focus completely on starting.
Ready?
Ready. It's going to be tight racing, and look at the fleet gathering towards the right-hand side of the screen there.
The starting box is basically defined as the starting line, and that box you see behind the starting line.
Usually we just position ourselves or near Mark 1, and then we create a plan.
There's no one really early, huh? What's the time we need there again? From here it's starting at maybe rolling at 1 minute, right?
And what was very specific in Sydney was that there is an island called Shark Island, and the idea came up that we can do a start, basically starting, coming in very late and doing a tack close to that boundary, and then aiming for the bottom of the starting line.
We said if no one's doing it, we will try it, because we tried it in the warm-up laps and we saw a couple of other boats trying it as well. We waited until I think 3 minutes to the start and kind of checked out if anyone else is doing it. So we thought, why not try it?
After we saw no one else is positioning, you know, to get to this position, we thought it's a good chance. We tried it. We went in here and tried to be very late and completely stayed on the foils. So we were just checking here below the island, heading a little up, and then we were pretty close to trigger.
That island and that boundary protected you against these starboard boats that would come at you. The timing had to be right, the tack had to be good, close to the boundary, and there was not a lot of margin for error. I honestly, as a coach, I was not certain whether it would be a good idea. The sailors were convinced we're doing it.
Yeah, it was definitely a little risky, but I think that's also a strength of our team, to think a little outside of the box and try new things. Definitely need the balls for it, but in this one it worked.
Germany again with a fantastic start. 3 in a row for Eric Heil off the bottom of the line, and it's a drag race to Mark 1.
The advantage of owning the pin end of the line is that you will naturally have the inside at Mark 1. And the big advantage is, I think they were advanced a little bit on us, but we had the leeward position, which allows us to choose very freely of when we want to jibe. And we wanted to make that race on the race course as simple as we could. And the race course had some features that we believed would be there, tendencies would be there more regularly. So it was not as open, but more a race course with one ideal track, more or less.
We jibed earlier and were leading towards that left mark rounding, which we then took, and Swiss took the right mark rounding.
It's all about who can make the gain with minimum manoeuvres. It looks like Germany going to be able to turn left very easily, Switzerland turn right. But which way's going to favour? Will Switzerland gain sailing away from the wind shadow of Genesis Island, or will Germany gain by minimising manoeuvres heading that way? It's going to be interesting. We're going to learn a lot about the course in the next 60 or 90 seconds.
You know, when we go around this mark and we come back, we have rights. And if he's going around this mark, he comes back, he has no rights. So this is a big risk for him already. You know, you need to be sure you will have a gain later on. And our maneuvers, they cost quite a lot. So We also tried to minimize maneuvers, and that's why we decided to go around here and take the long starboard tack to the left side.
After the first tag, they were actually ahead of us, so we had to cross behind. But then the left side of the upwind was favored, so we managed to sail more part of the upwind on the left side, and then when the Swiss came back, we were actually leading again.
We had that very long line that was sailing upwind in one direction without any maneuver, and then we wanted to take a left turn in the top gate. It's both better going upwind that direction as well as going downwind that direction.
Back at the Leeward gate, Swiss again took the right mark rounding, and we took the left mark rounding. On this one, maybe Swiss had gained on us a little bit again, but we were still crossing ahead because we gained so much by doing that downwind. Yeah, we sailed all the way to the left, and Swiss was basically out at that point.
And then the Kiwis got into play.
Here come the black foils.
So we have New Zealand black, which is the right color for them.
We tacked a little bit before the boundary and kind of risked losing the Kiwis because they went a little bit further and had a good gain on us here, because actually going into this they were quite far behind, but just by being a little bit further to into that left side, they were sneaking up up until the mark.
What they simply were much better at is trying to go into a high mode, and they were aiming at hitting that circle around that mark, because that will give them rights.
I kind of saw 10 seconds before the mark that might be close and they might actually get us here, and that would have been a pretty major situation. Our plan was to just do the same as we did before. So if we take the left turn here, then we managed to get one into the mark, and then it was actually after that straight to the finish.
We were just ahead of them, and they still had to do the maneuver, and we gave them room to make that maneuver. The tack basically just got ahead and rounded the mark just ahead of them and kept clear.
So we ended up with the Kiwis, they're tacking in here, we're turning down here, and then we were aligned again. And yeah, with such a short amount of meters till we jibe, it's difficult to catch up, even for the Kiwis.
Germany, now they've got to be careful. New Zealand are entitled to room to turn inside here. Germany have to give New Zealand room. Are they clear ahead? I think it's tight. I think they're ahead, but don't be surprised for Nathan Aldridge. He's going to press the button and he's going to ask the question of Craig Mitchell there. Germany had to give him room. That's going to go to the umpires.
I think it was the right call from Eric to just keep going and send it around here. Yeah, in the end, wasn't a penalty, which was lucky for us, but yeah, pretty risky on our side.
I was waiting a bit excited for the umpire call, because I knew that that Nathan, and knowing him as well, he would press the protest button and see what he can get out of it.
History in the making on day 2 at the KPMG Australia Sail Grand Prix Sydney. Winning race number 4 and picking up their first win, it's Germany Sail GP taking the victory in Sydney Harbour.
Going over the line, I mean, I think it's good for the team, especially after these light breeze races, and we had not really much experience with more breeze. I think it was a good moment for the team to get a win.
It was exciting. What excited us the most about this was actually not crossing the finishing line in first. It was the start. And the start is a very big focus for us in this season, because it's such a big part of that whole game. To pull off a start like this was something that made me very proud of the team, because it was the sailors that were pushing and they pulled it off. And of course it's nice to win a race. That's kind of the results part of it, but the process at this stage much more important to us.
Finishing first, so yeah, first race win was definitely one for the books.
I still believe we are not at the end of the road of our starting strategy, and it feels like everyone is saying we're good starters, but if you look at the statistics, we are the worst. If you look at the whole year, we are still 10th from 10 teams in terms of starting. I hope we are catching up quick, or we will catch up quick. Yeah, hopefully we'll get there soon.